Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we are looking at Zero by Smashing Pumpkins. This is a song that brings me back to my high school days. I remember hopping in my older brother's clunker Ford Taurus, and he had some big speakers in the trunk and, and jamming this music. But anyways, the song has some pretty cool things to offer. Majority of it's going to be octave shapes. Which is a great thing to learn. You've got a couple different options for fingerings here. You're going to crank up the distortion, get some funky harmonics. There's one little power chord in it, and then we have a variation on the main riff. There's going to be the accompaniment for the solo. So let's jump right into it here. All right, so first thing is make sure you're tuned down a half step. Every string needs to be tuned down a half step. So E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. All right, just tune everything down a half step. You don't necessarily have to do that, but if you want to play along with the original recording, then you'll have to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have some pretty wild dissonances there. But you can also buy the track and put it in software and put it up a semitone. And then you're good to go. You don't have to tune down. So, on this main riff, this is a great shape to know where, you know, if you're playing like a 3-string power chord, I'm just playing a C5 here, string 5, fret 3, string 4, fret 5, and string 3, fret 5. If you eliminate that middle string there, that string 4, fret 5, you've got an octave shape. So whenever you're playing this power chord, you're basically just doubling the root here, okay? And to get a little bit of a different sound, take that third finger out, and we're gonna mute that string in between, and this is how this riff starts. So string 5 fret 3, string 3 fret 3, string 4 is muted. I'm basically muting everything else, so let's just go ahead and talk about that. My index finger is muting essentially everything. My 6th string is resting on top of the pad there, and then I have it laying down kind of lazily here, and it's touching that 4th string, so that's muted. So 6th string, 4th string, and then my flesh over here is also catching strings 2 and 1, but you know, my pinky's also hitting string 2. However you want to get it done, right? Just make the hand comfortable, and the muting I think is you know, twofold. One, the sound is going to be much better, much cleaner, and the hand also gets to relax quite a bit. So that's a win-win situation there. And muting is just something that you always want to be thinking about regardless. You're going to use it heavily. A lot of people's intuition might be to use the 3rd finger there. You can totally do that. I like the pinky because it lets the hand compress and relax a little bit. So that is the shape, right? And it's going to be on those string sets, string 5, or that string set, sorry, string 5 and 3, basically the entire time. So we're going from the 3rd fret here, sliding down to the 2nd fret. So I'm striking, sliding, striking. Then we've got these little funky harmonics. They're going to come in on the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 4th fret. And then you're going to hit the open E string there again. So, and what I do is just slide my hand along. This isn't necessarily how Billy Corgan plays it. Saw him in a concert and just going down, up, just alternating the entire time. Feel a little bit more comfortable going down. That just seems to make more sense to me, but it's up to the player to decide. So figure out what works best for you. So again, and then I'm gonna use my middle finger to rest right on top of that 6th string 2nd fret. Same thing on the 6th string 3rd fret, right over the fret bar, and right over the 4th fret bar. So that's how you're going to get harmonics, is right over the fret bar. These are not spots that you would typically get harmonics, but if you turn your distortion up loud enough, it's going to happen. My 2nd fret's giving me a little bit of trouble there. I bring it back here. But that's the sound he's getting. Oops, sorry. And I don't try and mechanically shift my hand where I go, in these kind of herky-jerky motions, I just slide my that little, center of the tip or pad of the middle finger. Just kind of in the time of when I'm going to need to strike it. So that may take a little bit of work of just planning that out, but I wouldn't go something like that. I wouldn't be bouncing around or making the movements jerky at all. So and it might feel a little, not quite smooth when you're going slower, but you speed it up and it's just going to make more sense to the hand once you have that rhythm figured out. So it's a cycle of 2 riffs, very small little variation. The first time we're only going to hit that open string once and jump right back in to our octave on frets 3 and 5 and hit that twice. Second time, hit the string 6 open twice. So all the way through that. That's that riff, which is going to serve for the intro, verse, and chorus, I believe. You'll be playing that a lot. It's a great riff. It's a fun one to play, especially with all the distortion and good shape, good movement. I think it really advocates for kind of a compressed hand, like I said, keeping everything really small and close and relaxed as possible, which is what we always want on guitar. Okay, and then we've got the pre-chorus where it's going to be this octave shape moving around a little bit more. So we're going to be on 7 and 9, 9 and 11, back to 7 and 9, 10 and 12, 9 and 11, and 5 and 7. So this might be one little variation where I don't think I'm playing it the way that he's playing, or at least not the way that it's written out in some music. So let me just go through the riff here. So I'm sliding down there to the 5th fret, and I believe he is just hitting that note on string 6 fret 10, but I kind of like that slide into the octave on 5 and 7, and it also kind of sounds that way in the audio, so I don't know, maybe he does it both ways and just kind of picks and chooses. So we actually have one more octave shape that we're going to incorporate, which is at 12 and 14 there. So I'm just going to break down the sequence of octaves. There's 2 ways that we're going to play it, and then I'll add the low E that you're hearing in between those chords. So 7, 9, 7, 10, 9 to 5, 7, 9, 7, 10, and 9 to 12. And then it's going to repeat 7, 9, 7, 10, 9, 5, and again. So on this low E, I was always trying to determine if he was palm muting. I don't think he's palm muting. So what I tend to do is I strike my octave shape and then I let that rest, right? So I'm gonna kind of pulse it. And then I've got my index finger there to kind of keep this low E in check so it's not just washing everything out, okay? So I'm gonna do that, everything together slowly here. All down strums is what I'm using. So basically every time I put my index finger, or both fingers, my index and pinky, back on, I'm muting that low E. So it's just not drowning the octave shapes out. So they're kind of one's in and one's out, right? And we're kind of alternating. I'm also not hitting that low E string very hard. You don't want to You don't want to be hammering it. One more time through that. Okay, that is the pre-chorus. And then we've got, I don't know if you would call it the interlude or the bridge, which is just an E5 chord here. String 5, fret 7, string 4, fret 9, and string 3, fret 9. And it's just going to be strumming down, up. It's going to go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And that's it. It's just on that E5 chord. All right, and that brings us to the accompaniment, the rhythm portion for the solo. So it's just a variation on the main riff, but we do have a little bass line thing happening here. So it's going to be string 5 fret 3, string 6 fret 1, string 6 fret 3, string 5 fret 2. And then string 6 open 3 times. And then back to our octave shape on 3 and 5. And then string 6 open. So all together. And then it's going to jump back up to these octaves that we were at for the pre-chorus, but not playing it the exact same way. It's going to be hanging out on fret 7 for the majority of it. So I can't remember how many times both of those last, but you'll be able to hear it. You're going to hear this bass line for sure. And then it's going to jump up. You can really dig into that. That is everything, guys. This is a great song to get loud and have fun with. Like I said, you're going to get really comfortable with those octave shapes, which is something that every guitar player should know. And if you played power chords already, then you have played an octave shape without knowing it, perhaps. A little bit different because we're muting that string in between. Like I said, focus on the muting. That's a big part of this. That's why Billy Corgan is able to just kind of go down up if you want to use that manner of strumming. So muting, great thing to work on. Octave shapes, unavoidable. You're going to be working on that. Try to dial in a nice fuzzy tone. And I think that's it. Have fun, guys. See you in the next video. Thanks.